Hello and welcome back. Today I'm doing another TikTok reaction video. These seem to be something you guys like watching and I really enjoy making them. They're very fun and give me an excuse to spend hours upon hours scrolling through TikTok. Please ignore my messy bookshelves back here, but nothing matters, so I just can't be bothered to move those books. So that's about all we need for an intro. I have several videos here, and I'm excited to share them with you and tell you all my thoughts about them. So let's just go.
Baby, don't ask me why I got multiple Kindles. Just ask yourself why you want another one. And if it makes sense to you, then guess what, baby? Swipe. Because here go my story. I bought this one because I was tired of this iPad slapping me in the face at night, okay? But then I went out of town and I forgot this one, so then I bought this one. And then I realized I needed something small, so I bought this one so it can fit into my smaller purses. And then I found out that this came in blue. And then after I bought that, the green one dropped, and that's what happened to me. What's your story if you got multiple Kindles? Because y'all trying to make it seem like it's a big thing, and at this point, it's really not. This one stay in the bed. This one stay in the library. This one now lives on my couch. This one now lives in my purse, and I'm going to take this one with me on vacation, and this one still come with me everywhere just in case. I don't have a reason. None of it makes sense. I spend my money because I can. If that's what you want to do, sis, go ahead and swipe. Ain't nobody stopping you. The end. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, so I definitely, first and foremost, agree. Spend your money however you want to. Like, if you need 6 Kindles, by all means, and that's something you can afford, go for it. What does it matter to me? However, in terms of, like, consumerism, like, that's insane. Like, truly insane. Even if, like, you are on vacation and you forgot it or whatever, she said, like, use your phone. Go buy a $15 book at the store. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just envious because there's no way I could ever afford like 6 different Kindles, but that's wild. And if you're out of the house, they don't sync. I mean, I don't think they sell, do they sell them with like GPS or whatever it is, like Wi-Fi? Not Wi-Fi. With like cellular service, I guess, because mine only connects on Wi-Fi and I don't often have Wi-Fi connection unless I'm at home or like somewhere else I'm going to be a while. So if I'm just like out and about, it's not going to sync. So if I've read something last night, if I don't sync it before I leave the house, meanwhile, my phone always does because that has cellular service everywhere. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be too like overly critical because yes, it is her money and she can spend it however she wants, but this seems crazy. Especially because it's often Kindle users who are very critical of those who purchase a lot of physical books. I don't know this woman specifically, so I'm sure, I mean, I have no clue if that's something she does, but we should just all be aware that, like, let's not be the pot calling the kettle black. Is that the phrase? I feel like I should know that. Anyways, next TikTok.
Day 3 on the road to It's been ages since we left Pyramid. As always, my companions, Boop and Carl.
This is so relatable to me as a non-fantasy reader. And I mean, I guess even if you do read fantasy, but it's like a new series. I remember reading the first 2 books of A Court of Thorns and Roses and literally pronouncing all the names like differently than everyone else. And they're not even hard. I remember like Feyre. Yeah, I know that the pronunciation's like in the back of the book, but I did not know that at the time, and I was just calling her like Fire. So that's cool. And then in the second one, when they start to get a little weirder with the names, I mean, I don't know. It's more like the names of places, I think, in it. I don't remember. It was a long time ago that I read those. But yes, I totally get this, and it makes perfect sense to me because I am just, that's not something I read, and unless I'm listening to the audiobook, I'm making up a different way to say it in my head probably.
So my mom reads Colleen Hoover book and rips it apart. What'd you think? Did you like it?
Stupidest book I've ever read, which is why I felt the need to rip it so nobody else could read it ever.
This one really doesn't need much of a commentary from me. I just think this is funny because this woman straight up destroyed her book because she hated it so much, and it's a Colleen Hoover. She says it's the stupidest book she's ever read in her life. I love it. I do have another Colleen Hoover book on here, or another Colleen Hoover TikTok, so sorry if that's someone you're a fan of, but I do tend to criticize her quite a bit on this channel.
Boy, I just wanna be in your possession. Say I'm the one.
First, a question. How did you get to the point of owning that many of them? Like, were you just not reading them and buying them anyway? Okay, all jokes aside, if you truly want to not support a problematic author, you don't just keep the books and turn them around. You go and donate them, or you bring them to a second and Charles, as another creator said. I don't remember who, I'm sorry. And, you buy books by, you know, non-problematic, marginalized authors. We know you turn them right back around after the video.
Now, I feel weird about this one because I try not to support problematic authors, but like many of us, I was a huge Harry Potter fan, and I own all the books, I own all the audiobooks, all the ebooks, and I own the first 4 illustrated editions. You know, I used to live in Orlando and I went to Harry Potter, the Wizarding World all the time. I've been to anyways, I'm just going to stop naming things that I have that's Harry Potter. But I don't participate in giving J.K. Rowling my money anymore. Ever since she came out with all of her transphobia, I haven't purchased anything. I mean, like, as we should be doing. But I don't feel that giving all of my books away and all of that is really would really be making any kind of statement against her. These are books that I loved, that really, you know, changed a lot of my life, you know, really brought me to books. I've read them all several times. And I don't think that completely, like, denying myself the enjoyment of them is gonna do anything. I would not recommend them to people. I don't try to get people to buy more stuff. If you really want to read the books and you haven't, go to the library, buy them secondhand. But, like, I don't understand why I would need to get rid of something I've already paid for, I already own, when, like, it's not going to make any difference in the lives of the trans community if I get rid of my books. If you disagree with me, I really would love to hear, like, a little more of why this would make a huge difference. I mean, I say get rid of your Colleen Hoover books because they're terrible, but I don't know. Like, Harry Potter was a really important thing to me for a very long time, and so I don't keep them because I don't think that what J.K. Rowling has come out and said is not absolutely horrible, because I do, but I just don't know how me getting rid of books is going to combat her words. Hopefully that's clear and I don't come off as being transphobic myself or not caring about the LGBTQ plus community, because I very much do care. So please tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't want to come off as anything that I'm not, but personally, I just don't know that me getting rid of something I already own is really sticking it to her. This is so bad. This is so bad. Guys, I feel like I can actually speak on this a little more with more authority now that I've read It Ends With Us, but no, Ryle is the bad guy, guys. And I appreciate that there is nuance in that he comes off as such a regular, like, charismatic guy, but that's kind of the point, is that even the most, like, normal seeming of people who seem to be having the best of intentions, people that, like, you would fall in love with, can be abusers. And so you're not supposed to feel like that by the end of the book. I get, again, there's a lot more to it than what is just surface level, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the music going on in the background because it's probably copyrighted, so I'll probably have to mute it, but it's like, he's just a man, something or other. And so that's, no. I mean, yes, he's just a man, but, like, let's not make excuses for an abuser.
Do y'all know how unhinged it is to tell someone to unalive themselves because you don't agree with their opinion on a book? To tell someone to unalive themselves because you don't like how they delivered their review, or because they gave a book 2 stars and that's your #1 favorite book of the year? That is unhinged behavior. You feel so angry with how someone reviewed your favorite book that it riles you up to the point of wanting to unalive them. I urge you to seek therapy. That's it. Because that behavior is weird. Those feelings Unchecked, dangerous. So I urge y'all, seek therapy if you feel the need to ever jump into someone's comments or in someone's DMs and threaten to unalive them because they bashed your favorite book. It's never that serious. It's really not. That's just my opinion though.
That's so bizarre. I mean, I believe her when she says that this happened, but wow. Can you imagine? Like, telling someone to off themselves because of a book recommendation that they didn't like? Just unfollow them, guys. Like, it's not that serious. But I mean, again, I totally believe her and she is a victim in this scenario, but that is completely unhinged. That is completely unhinged, and we need to take a step back and realize what's important in life, and it ain't this. It ain't book recommendations. Okay, that was a very short video. This is one I see both sides of, because I do understand that indie authors don't necessarily have the resources, the funds to market and promote and pay their ARC readers and reviewers the way that like a bigger company does. However, it is what I would see as an investment. Like, you're gonna want to make sure these are people that you really think are going to like your book based on previous reviews and stuff. I just, as a reviewer, I've never written anything. I have no plans to write any books or anything. But as a reviewer, sometimes it can be frustrating. And I actually posted a whole video about this. If you give me a book and you ask me to read it and review it, I will say yes if I can. But sometimes life happens, right? And I don't need an author coming at me, yelling at me that I was unable to fulfill this for what is essentially unpaid labor. It takes a long time to read a book and write a nice, like, fully coherent review on it. I mean, a 300-page book, I would say on average, will take me 6 to 8 hours to read. And then probably let's add in another hour to write a good review and make it sure it's polished and grammar's correct and all of that. So I just think that, like, I don't necessarily think that every single author is, I'm telling them, oh, you must pay your reviewers, you must. But I think that, like, to act like that's crazy or whatever is, I don't know, kind of devaluing the work that book reviewers do put in to reviewing books on these platforms. And if you can find people to review your books to your standards and like they can do that, by all means, that's awesome. I love that. But sometimes when a creator, you know, gets big and stuff, like they have a lot of these offers coming to them and they're always gonna pick, well, I shouldn't say always, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna pick one that will give them some benefit for their effort. I guess this is a little more to like a bigger publisher or big time authors, although I guess they're not really indie published, but I don't know. Yes, it does take a lot of money for an indie author to get published and hire editors and all of this. So I would say more just like be more selective on who you pick for your ARC team or reviewers, because personally, like, I'm a big DNFer, as most of you know, and so if I don't like a book, even if it's a review copy, I might still DNF it, depending on how far I am into it, and then I'll just write that in my review, like, this was not the book for me, whatever. But if I'm being paid for it, then I'm much more likely to actually finish it and give a good review. Not a good review, but like a review that is complete versus I didn't finish this because I wasn't vibing. Am I in the wrong? I don't know. I mean, I do feel like this can be a divisive thing, but I know that, like, it takes a lot of time and energy to read a book and review it. And so to be so, like, have a hard and fast rule of, like, I will not do this. It seems like you could also be lowering the quality of reviewers you're getting. I don't know. It's complicated. And as someone who's not an author, it's hard to say from my perspective, like, what is correct and what's not.
Just woke up to see that President Trump was reelected, and that means that $10 paperbacks are back on the way. I'm sick of the $20 in your favorite kneecap. Bring back $10 paperback books. That's my concern. Ugh. Bring him back.
I mean, this is laughable. First of all, are you old enough to vote even? Because, like, she doesn't appear to have even really had any impact in this election. Second of all, what? What are you talking about? This is not a thing. Yeah, you really think that Trump's #1, like, campaign promise was to make all paperback books $10? No, he'd rather take away people's rights and deport immigrants. Like, what? What are you talking about? Luckily, people put her in her place in the comments, but I was just like, is this real life? Who, like, what is happening? What is happening? And, like, I'm sick to death of, like, reading constantly on TikTok all of this, like, my whole feed is kind of politics, and I know I'm part of the problem because I watch them, so they give me more of them, but, like, guys, books are political. They've always been political. They will always be political, and Trump is not making paperbacks $10.
So this is just my message to Book Talk that if books are political, it includes these. Or are we banning books? That's it.
There is a lot to unpack with that one. Yes, the Bible is political, and the Bible isn't a part of our democracy. I mean, they're trying to make it so it is, but the Bible actually has nothing to do with, like, the United States government. And that's wild to me. Like, I don't even really feel like I understand completely what point she's trying to make, that, like, they can't be banning books because they didn't ban the Bible. I don't really get it. Obviously, they're not going to ban the Bible because that's what they're basing their entire campaign on. But anyways, I just, like, I don't even understand this TikTok, but it was so, like, absolutely bonkers. I just felt that I needed to share it. And people are responding to it, like, with the stitches. And I'm just like, I don't even know what they're trying, like, let's not give her attention because she doesn't even make sense. If you're going to have a terrible take, at least make sure it makes sense.
If you do not own the physical book, you do not own the media. I've seen a lot of conversations about overconsumption, and if you're reading a book on your Kindle, you shouldn't buy it. Guess what? Kindle could take that off tomorrow, and I would not own that book anymore. I wouldn't be able to read it, even if I paid for it. So I continue to buy physical copies of all these books because what if they go away one day? What if the author takes it off the internet? What if Kindle Unlimited takes it off? What if it's no longer on Amazon? So I will continue to buy physical copies.
Okay, you do you, but you're wrong. That's not a thing that Amazon does. The only case that that's ever been true of is when a publisher had basically illegally published copies of 1984 and Animal Farm, and they removed those and refunded the people that had purchased them. There are copies of those books available, so, like, you could just go repurchase it. If you own a book on Amazon, even if the rights get whatever, they remove it from Amazon, you just can't look at it in the Kindle store. It's no longer there. It's still on your device. So that's just false. I mean, you don't need to make excuses about buying physical books if that's something you enjoy, in my opinion. Yes, there are lots of talks about overconsumption, but we just saw someone with 7 Kindles. So, like, it goes on both sides. You know, you can have a Kindle and still overconsume. So, I mean, that's just kind of one of those things, like, that's just not true. And to make a whole TikTok about it without having looked that up is kind of funny. Also, is anybody that has Kindle Unlimited under the impression that they own those books? Because, like, they make it pretty clear. Look, I am no Amazon apologist, but I've done several free trials when I need to, like, read a certain book, whatever. And they make it very clear that, like, this is a subscription service, and if you are no longer subscribed to the service, you no longer own that book. It's no longer going to be available to you. So I don't know. It feels like she's just kind of, like, wanted to make a video and then didn't really do any research into whether or not her claims were actually true. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. I want to know your opinions on any of these TikToks, if any of them were kind of controversial. I know there were a couple in there. I want to know what you think, and if you agree with me, if you think I am dead wrong, please tell me why. I would love to have these conversations. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!